Hello everyone, this is Merit Trainboy speaking, and today in this video we are going to take a look at some recent purchases that I have purchased from eBay. My first ones were the Tomy die-cast Thomas engines that you might have seen in my recent video that I've been unboxing them. But although in this video it shows the rest of the items that were from eBay. So this is what this video is all about, and I'll be showing you guys one by one of these items. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what I have purchased from eBay along with the Tomy die-cast Thomas engines. Okay, so the first items that we will take a look at is inside this box, and I was just keeping them inside this box safe, and here's what's inside. And there's also a little bag that has some little stuff in it. You can see there. And there's some Tomy track. There's Harold, and also there's a Tomy Henry, but most of all is this station. So it might take a moment to set all this up because the seller from eBay said that he made this setup as a oval set. And the station looks like that it's in good condition, but there's a piece that just broken off, and this part, which is for making the trains stop and go, that has broken off. So I'm sure I'll try to fix that. And luckily, that piece is inside the bag along with the other little stuff, so I'm pretty sure I'll glue that piece carefully back onto there. Okay, so here it is all set up, and you can see I had fixed that piece back on to the station part, and it works well, although I had to be very careful of gluing that piece to where it was, so that way it's not stuck to the yellow plastic piece of the track. And as for Harold, that came with this set, I had one like it if you have seen it in my recent videos, but although one day some time last year my dad accidentally stepped onto it and it got crushed, but I just glue it back together. So here it is, and you can see right there where the damage was, and you see his tail has been broken off. Although this side is okay, but the letter R on this side is a bit messed up. So this is the reason why I decided to get a new Harold to replace this one. But I'm pretty sure I could still use it for something. And for these two figures, Sir Topham Hatt and the conductor or station master, whatever you want to call it, These are very small figures, so I think these are more suitable for children that are 4 years old and older, because these are very small and they could be choking hazards, and sometimes when they're a part of a set they could easily get lost over time. And also for the station, I have one like this over the past few years, which came in a train set with a talking Tomy Thomas, but it's gotten really old and some pieces have been broken off that wouldn't interact the flying of Harold. And I had a picture of another window taped onto the side of the building, although I wonder if anyone else had thought of doing that. And you see, the best feature about this station is that it's powered, and like for an example, there's a switch right here. Once it's flicked on, Harold flies around, and he is connected by that wire which is connected to the chimney of the station. And that's not all. With this piece right here that's connected to the station, when an engine comes and stops at the station, it can interact Harold when you have that switch on stop. And when you let the engine go, Harold stops flying. And yes, of course, you saw that Henry still works. So let's give him a test run along this track. Well, that was a good test run. Also, this Henry looks in really good nick, but I already have a Henry model, which you may have seen in some of my Thomas and Friends remakes. So, what I'll might do is that I'll turn this Henry into Henry's basic. You know, the engine that Henry's body is based off of. So I might have to keep an eye on this station for any pieces that might broken off on this one, because this is a very good condition item, and most importantly, I better keep an eye on this piece right here. And just one more thing, look how a perfect size that these figures are. And you can see Sir Topham Hatt is sitting on Henry's footplate, and the driver is hanging right next onto Henry's cab. So I may use these figures for my Tomy Trackmaster Thomas remakes. So stay tuned for them. So that's enough at looking at this little train set, so let's move on. So the next item that we are about to take a look at is pretty well emboxed, and it certainly caught my eye. It's the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Tomica World Thomas Medium set. And if some of you guys remembered that Tomy had produced this range, which was called Tomica World or Tomica World, whatever you want to call it. And not only they've been producing some trains and cars, but also as well Thomas and Friends stuff in that range. And this set was one of those items, and this is what the set looks like. This box looks like that it's in really good nick, and there's some pictures all around it. And also on the back shows what's inside this box, and that should include in it. And right here it talks about what this set is all about. And there, that's what the set looks like. And the reason why I got this set from eBay is because it comes with this little bridge. And however, I never had that bridge before, and that is something that I have always wanted. And also for the station, during right here it's saying Ellsbridge Station, but when we look right here at the name board, it's saying that, I know it's behind that tree, but it's saying Wellsworth Station. So it must have been a big mix-up back then, but who cares? This is such a really grand set if you guys have remembered of having one of your own. So let's open this box up. I had a sneak peek before, but I didn't pull anything out. And looking at this picture of Thomas, this is a four-wheeled Thomas. And if you guys have remembered back then, Thomas was first released with only 4 wheels. So I don't know if there's a four-wheeled Thomas in there. Maybe this is the latest version of this medium set. It's really hard of opening this box up with only one hand. That's why I dropped the camera. So now we can take a look what is inside here. You can see there's a signal and that single tree, and there's the station, even though that's Wellsworth. And a lot of bubble wrapping. There's a stop and go and some more pieces of track, and there's that bridge. And also there's Clarabelle, Annie, and Thomas. So this might take a moment for me to build up this setup. And I knew there was something stuck inside there. The instructions that comes with this set, that surprisingly it's still with it. And here it shows how the layout goes, and of course we all know, tells you how to put a battery inside Thomas. And even though I've noticed that there's a picture of that Thomas that has that middle wheel there, so maybe this Thomas has that. Just reminding you, I didn't pull anything out. And yes, he does have that middle wheel, and I think his face is in a different color. Looks a bit darkish gray to me. Just let me grab my other Thomas. So if you can't tell which one is which, the new Thomas that came in the medium set is on the left, right here. And what I could see is, yes, the faces look like they're in slightly different colors. This one right here is the one that I had over the past few years, and this one came in the medium set. And you see this one has its face in a light shade of color, and this one has a bit of a dark shade color of gray. And something else I've noticed underneath this one that came in the medium set, you can see that, not sure if you could see it, but it says Tomy, made in Thailand, 1992. And the same right here, Brittle Craft Thomas Limited, 1992. But for this one, which I had over the past few years or so, it does say Tomy, made in Thailand, 1992 Tomy, but it's in a different design. And also right here is different. That says Ghislaine Thomas Limited, 2002. So this is a new 2002 model, where this one is a much older 1992 Thomas, because this one is more early than this Thomas. And also, as for Annie and Clarabelle, they look very well, in good condition. So underneath, they're both marked the same as Thomas, 1992. Where my other ones that I had over the past few years are marked 2002. So the other ones that came in the set are much older than these two. So without any further ado, after that all interruption with Thomas and Annie and Clarabelle that were in this set, these older versions of course, it's time to put this set up. So here it is, all set up. And also, as for the Thomas that is in this set, he still works, but a bit sluggish. Looks like that his motor's dying. Yeah. But also, while I was putting the battery in it, I have noticed that from inside of the body shell, the face is built onto the smoke box. So if you guys have remembered back then, in the early years of these Tomy Thomas trains, the faces were built into the engine's smoke box, but sometime later, in a few years, they decided to change it by having the faces separate from the smoke boxes, but still attached to them. Yeah. His motor looks like it's being really sluggish. And any time it might do absolutely nothing. Well, there he goes. And then he stopped. But he was going at first, but that was kind of slow. So here's the battery inside, and you can see the switch is on, still doing nothing, but looks like it's now going. Maybe the battery is supposed to be presented like this, and not all the way down. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but please let me know. Maybe I could put a tin foil, but so maybe I could. Sorry if I just don't know what to say. But yeah, maybe a bit of tin foil might do the trick. So here's some tin foil, and I'll just place it right here where the metal is. And if you guys remembered how to use tin foil, that's what you use to make these trains go backwards. And hopefully, touching that metal and the battery's flat, we'll have some action. Oh yeah! Success! Now we can give Thomas a test run around this little train set. Well, that was a good test run, and that was a very good run as well on this old train set. And here, of course, in this Mediuem set, to fill in the layout, is of course the station, which is Wellsworth. However, people would be confused if this was actually Elsbridge Station, which was seen on the box artwork. And it also features a single tree, and these kinds of trees I've got about heaps of, but not really much. And it also comes with this signal. I had this sort of signal before, which came in a set, but I lost it, so this may be a replacement. And that's how you work with it. As for the Thomas that's in this set, this is such a very old Thomas from the early years, and this is going to be another Thomas tank from my Thomas tank collection. And also, as for the stop and go track, mine had this part broken off, so this will be a replacement for one of them. But the most thing that I'm happy with this set is this bridge. And this is something that I have always wanted. Well, that's enough at looking at this set, and I might do a retro review of this set, so that way we'll be reminded of the good old days of these Tomy, Thomas & Friends trains. So right now, let's just move on. Now this next item that I got here is a bit of a rare and hard to find item, and it has certainly caught my eye immediately. And this is the Plarail Angry Powerful Gordon. And for those of you who don't know, much about this engine. It was first released in 2001 for a limited time, I meant to say. And it had a unusual powered motor that was supposed to go faster than a regular Gordon. And you see and also you may not know this, but this model was the first Plarail Tomy engine to have that splash of white on the footplate. And also on this model you can see here the red lining on his wheel arches. These are actually stickers. So back then Gordon just had its red lining as stickers, but sometime later they were just painted onto the wheel arches. And also, as for Gordon's face, it looks exactly like the real one from the TV show of Thomas and Friends. And by looking right here, you can see there's some metal right through his windows, and you see this engine has a bit more metal than a regular Gordon, so that way it could pull probably more coaches. And you can see the red lining underneath the windows have seen better days. Same thing on the other side, but I could fix that by painting it again. And although something unusual at the back here, this is a bit unusual, but you see the rear coupling is in a different design, so that's very interesting. I wonder if any more Plarail engines have this kind of design of rear coupling. Underneath there, hopefully you can see it, it says Ghislaine Thomas Limited 2001. Like I said, this model was first released in 2001 for a limited time. And right here it says Tomy 1995, Tomy made in Thailand. So if you guys have remembered that there was a website called customthomas.com where they had these powerful angry Gordons that you can get. So if you guys have remembered, there was a website called customthomas.com where they had these powerful angry Gordons in case if you can't find them online on eBay. But although I've been trying to get one of those from that website, so you guys may some of you guys may not know, but there was a website called customthomas.com where they were selling these powerful angry Gordons, which was a tribute version of them. And I've been trying to get one of them from that website, but somehow there was no products left of these trains. So that's why I just have to continue to find one on eBay until now. And if you guys may know that this model comes with a red express coach, and luckily it did come with a red express coach, but somehow I even got another red coach. So you see, that's a pretty strange, because you see on eBay, I only saw one picture of a red coach, but it looks like that the seller had decided to throw in another red coach. And like I said before, this Gordon has a powerful motor which allows him to go fast. And yes, it still works, but I'm not sure if that's the speed it goes. Although I can't tell if it's actually fast. But anyway, let's just give Gordon, along with these two red coaches, on this track that is from the station that comes with Henry, and which I'm just glad I just kept these bits of track out, so that way we'll give this powerful Angry Gordon a test run. Well, that was a good test run, but I'm not sure, still not sure if this Gordon is more fast. But let's compare that speed with a regular Plarail Gordon. So here we are at the layout, and here we have the Angry Gordon and the regular Gordon next to it. And we'll see how fast that this Gordon is compared to the regular Gordon next to it. So first the regular Gordon, now the powerful Gordon. And it looks like that the powerful Gordon is faster. So yes, this Gordon is more faster than this regular Plarail Gordon. I was just worried if it wouldn't really be true, but it is. Okay, so the next one here is a Trackmaster Hank. And this one is the Hit Toys version, because this one is powered from behind, right here inside the tender. And yes, it still works. Just put a battery in it to see if it works. And as we all know, that the Fisher-Price version has the motor right inside Hank, the engine. But you see, I got this version of Hank because it has more details, and yeah, it's very highly detailed. And I've been trying to get this version of the Trackmaster Hank so that it's in good condition, and only it doesn't have any broken pieces. Although often I've been seeing pictures of this model where the back buffers on the tender are broken. But this one I got is in very good condition. although there's a little bit of dings. And one thing I've noticed is that right here, the middle wheel is springy. Made me wonder if that's for going over the hills. However, the coupling rods don't move, but they would. But still, they look nice. And however, this model even came with a green brake van. As we all know that in the pack that Hank came in, it came with a red brake van. But this model wasn't in a pack that would keep it in good condition. That's why it has those dings. And that's why this green brake van just came with it. So without any further ado, like I've always been saying, let's give Hank a test run. So here's Hank on the track, and of course that brake van that he is pulling. Let's give him a spin. Also, I have heard there were some reviews from Amazon about this model of Hank. A lot of them had said that because Hank is being powered in the tender, he keeps jumping off the tracks. I wonder if anybody had that problem. But it looks like that this model isn't jumping off the tracks. So it looks like I don't have that problem. Well, that was a good run for this model. And surely, since I now have Hank, I will be doing a remake of Heave Ho Thomas. Now this next one may remind you of something. And this is the Tomy Thomas and the jet engine that is based on the episode of the same name. And you can see there's the Tomy Thomas with that classic horror face, and this is the jet engine that this Thomas comes with. Although you may remember that you have seen this face from a few of my Tomy and Trackmaster Thomas remakes, and that would make you think that I already have a jet engine with Thomas Tomy version. Well, you're right, but you see, I've been trying to get a new jet engine to replace it for ages. It's because that one of the small wheels on the jet engine is broken, and it was just tilting every time it was rolling down the tracks. So here's a better look at the Tomy Surprise Face Thomas. It looks in very good condition, and yes, it still works. Although there's a little bit of white right on the side of the footplate, if you can see it. And there's a little bit of chip on that sticker, but that doesn't matter. And when we bring in my Surprise Face Tomy and Trackmaster Thomas that I already own, they do look the same, part of the color. You can see here, this one has certainly been used. It looks like that it's gone a bit yellowish, and the eyebrows look like they were seeing better days than this one. They're still there, although mine was used for a smashed up derby, and that's why and you see, this is why this is a custom. I'm trying to say this is a custom model of the surprise face Thomas, but the face is real, and this one has red stripes where this one doesn't. And the motor still works, but it's a bit sluggish. So this one might sound better. And this cargo crate van looks very in good condition, whatever you want to call this car. Mine was totally dirty, and I've been using it for outdoors. And here's the jet engine that this car is supposed to be attached to. Make it look like that it's attached to it, I should say. But yeah, in the episode, that's what it's looked as. And although, like I said before, mine that I already own had a broken wheel, and that's why I wanted to replace it. However, it still works. You can see that it flashes on and off. And to give you proof that this Thomas is really sluggish, you hear that? It makes that noise every time that it's rolling down the tracks. So let's give my new Tomy Surprise Face Thomas and my new jet engine a test run. Yeah, it looks like that he's going pretty well fast indeed. And there's that red light coming from inside the jet engine. Well, that was a good test run, and hopefully sometime soon I will be doing a remake of Thomas and the Jet Engine. Well, I'm afraid that's all the recent purchases from eBay that I have got to show you in this video, but there's still some more items that are from eBay that you guys haven't yet seen, so I'll have to show you them on a separate video, which is another part of this video. So stay tuned for that next part, where I'll be showing you guys the rest of the items that are from eBay. See ya!